Hello friends, welcome back for some more of our Ultra Supreme Max Difficulty Challenge. Been having some audio issues, so I'm hoping that everything sounds okay. But yeah, we've been out for a little while, about 10-ish days or so. But we're back on it, and we are getting some more of this progress done. We are actually pretty close to being done with this series. And I did put up a poll recently asking people what they would want to see for the rest of this series, and it was mostly to take the temperature on whether I think colonizing the rest of the asteroids is worth it or not. And since the numbers were so close, and since I was already leaning towards not doing it because I already do have a series where I do it, I think we're just going to get the achievements in the quickest way that we can, and we will wrap this series up and we will definitely start something new after that. So that is the plan moving forward. But if this is your first time here, or if you just want a refresher, or just to keep things consistent, I guess, here's the rules for the run. The first thing is I have to play on the hardest asteroid on the highest difficulty. We have to get all of the achievements, every single one of them in one run. We also have to play on the most difficult seeds that we could find. We're not allowed to re-roll duplicates. We just got to go with what we go, or rather go with what we get. That doesn't make sense. All right, anyway, so we have the rules all good to go. Let's take a look at our progress. We are down to just the last 5 achievements. And if we open this up, I don't know why it takes so long to load a menu, but we have 4 more terrestrial artifacts to get, which means we just need to go grab them from the other asteroids. And I am just going to be landing and grabbing them and leaving instead of building a whole colony there. If you're interested in seeing me build entire colonies on those, I actually do have those in my spaced out walkthrough series, so check it out. Yeah, it's towards the end, but you can check out me settling on all of those other ones. It'd probably be very similar to what I would do in this series, honestly. But there you go. Great Escape is the next one we need to look at, and that's just going to be getting through the temporal tear. We actually do have the temporal tear opener charged, and we'll take a look at that a little bit later, but I think this will be the last video and the last thing that we do. Home Sweet Home, we need to build a Great Monument. That one's not too exciting. It's just building a few things and picking how we want those things to match up. So I will put that up probably in this video, honestly, because it's one of the easier ones to do. Just need enough resources to do it. So we'll double check that when we get there. The last 2 are going to be a Cluster Conquest, which is just landing on the other ones, which we're going to do anyway to grab artifacts. I think for the Magma one, I'm just going to send a rover there by itself and get the achievement, I guess. And then we will also do the research reactor. We're going to do the research reactor in this video. And the plan for this is just going to be to set it up in a very standard way and not go through too many overcomplicated builds to get this thing done. So earlier in the run, we had carved out some space for where this research reactor is going to go. And I think it's going to go right here. We need a few things to keep this thing running. We need enriched uranium, which we have a lot of. We need a lot of water, so it's just going to be consuming water as it runs, and it will also need a bunch of cooling. So we're just going to be using steam turbines, a bunch of steam. I've been collecting water here. I need to collect more. And then this is just going to be our typical cooling pool that we've built a whole bunch of times before. So I'll run through that. In case you had noticed, a lot of time has passed between when the last video stopped recording and when this one started. That's because I've just been busy cleaning up the map and vacuuming certain parts out to hopefully get the best performance we can, especially because as we go to these other asteroids, as you reveal tiles, it really does make the performance a lot more strained, and especially on this one. It doesn't look like anything right now, but this is a very deep asteroid that's filled entirely with water, and that's very expensive from a performance standpoint. So I just wanted to clean things up the best I could. I know if we were to kill all of our shine bugs, it would help our performance more than anything, but I don't want to kill these because they've been with us the whole game, and we are still getting lime from them, so I do have a use for it other than just liking them being around. See, they're all cheering for their own mortality as well, so how could you be so callous and want me to get rid of those? So yeah, I know this is a huge performance problem, even just mousing over. Look how long it takes for it to like catch up and actually get all the information on these cards. So yeah, definitely not the greatest in terms of performance right here, and that's definitely our biggest problem. But since we have them all confined just to one spot, I think I'm just going to leave them there, and we will not worry about them in terms of performance, and I'll just kind of work around it. So there we go. Let me check my notes here. Oh, one thing that we need to do is look at the temporal tear opener. So let's take a look at that. Nothing too wild going on here, honestly. I've just been creating some rad bolts from these Wheezeworts, sending it in there. It's all charged up and ready to go. If we were to hit fire right now, a huge meteor shower would come down and destroy everything, so I don't want to do that. I need to wait until I can get some steel here to protect this, mostly because I don't want the duplicant here to get too stressed out or be at risk of dying or something like that, because the base is going to be destroyed. So it can definitely be a kind of cascading effect. I need to rebuild these. I had my duplicant in here earlier, but they were very radiation poisoned, so I wanted to get them out of there for just a little bit, but we'll rebuild this and get these things shipping back there. So there we go, got that. The last thing is the slime asteroid, an update from there. I was getting comments asking about where I was getting the polluted oxygen to feed these puffs, but these puffs are really just temporary, so I could start my production of squeaky puffed eggs. So we have a good amount of squeaky puffed eggs. We have a lot of extra ones, a few princes, at least one extra puffed here, just to make sure that we have enough support. Eventually I will not need these anymore, and I can get rid of all the polluted oxygen that's in here and just replace this with squeaky puffs if I need more room. Which I don't need right now, but we may need depending on how this all settles. Food situation here is still relying a little bit on the berry sludge that was taken with us at the beginning, but we're getting pretty close to stabilizing. I'm not exactly sure what the balance is. I'm feeling like I'm going to need another room full of squeaky puffs here because the production that's coming out for just the meat doesn't seem like it's quite enough for one of these very hungry duplicants. So we've got that done, and now that we have that, I think that's all the outstanding business as we get our huge hitch here before loading the next day, or I guess more specifically while saving. So let's go ahead and get started on this research reactor. We're just going to build it right here. I'll kind of go through our typical editing style as we do. People seem to like that, so I think I'll keep that up. So yeah, let's get started and let's build this out. Okay, looks like we are ready to get this rolling. This is my first time ever making this, by the way. I've never really had a reason to, and most of my playthroughs thus far have been like tutorial type of things or just learning or playing around with stuff. For whatever reason, I've never actually made one of these before, so this will be my very first time turning this on, and you know me, I like to make things hard for myself and not research things before I try it, so let's see how this goes. As far as I understand, you're supposed to send water into it, so I have water that's constantly going in there. Also, as far as I understand, this will produce a lot of steam. So the steam turbines are actually not hooked up in a way that will drop the water back into this tank. It'll go all the way back around and eventually back into the reactor. So I shouldn't need much more water than this, hopefully, but we'll see. My steam turbines are also connected up to a bunch of atmo sensors to make sure that the steam is dense enough before these things turn on, so I don't wind up drawing all the steam out of this area and making there be nothing to absorb the heat from this. The other parts of this, there is an automation wire that's heading in here just on a simple switch, just to make sure that this isn't accepting fuel unless that is turned on. So I have a regular wire going into here with a switch, and as soon as I turn it on, it should be good to go. My enriched uranium, I think that's what it's called, yes, is chilling down here in this storage bin. We're going to do our typical, use a conveyor loader to ship it in there. I think the melting point of this is actually quite high. Let me turn this, or rather, let me disable this. Yeah, 858. We shouldn't be getting that hot in here. So as long as we're at least below that temperature, which I think we should be, it won't melt and cause a bunch of problems. So I think that should be good. These two aqua tuners are working pretty hard to keep this all cool, and we're going to need this circuit of cooling to keep all of our steam turbines cool, because they're going to generate a lot of heat. despite all the power that they're generating. So yeah, I've got this just on a very simple circuit, exchanging temperatures by going through a whole bunch of metal tiles and cold ethanol. And then these two are just hooked up our typical way. If the polluted water that's in here is anywhere above -5, we're going to send it through our aqua tuner, get it cooled down, and have it come back in here. These are very critical to make sure that we don't freeze our pipes or anything like that, so we've got that on the way. Yeah, so we've got our extra tank of water. This area also, I was debating what to make these temp shift plates out of. I chose dirt only because I don't think this is going to get hotter than this temperature. If it is, then we have a problem, but this is just a very common resource that I have right now, so I just decided to use that instead of something that's more scarce or more useful otherwise. So we've got that and a whole bunch of metal tiles. Also, from what I understand, the heat from this building gets put into the tile that's immediately below it, which is one of the design things that I don't really care for that much, but this ought to at least help distribute it a little bit into the steam and hopefully into these tiles and absorb a lot of heat. So it can be exchanging nice and like stably instead of with not a lot of material. So that'll hopefully help this out. But I have seen a quick clip of what this looks like if it does melt down. And if I don't give it enough water or if it gets too hot, I think either one of those two things, it will start a meltdown and it will start spewing basically little asteroids everywhere and it'll break everything. I don't want that to happen, but it might because this is the first time I've ever turned this on. So here we go. So I'm going to use this to send in my enriched uranium. So let's do that. And as soon as it gets up here, I don't think it's going to start delivering until I actually enable this. Yeah, it won't be asking for fuel. As far as I understand, this left side is going to be how much water is sitting in here, and it doesn't hold that much. It only holds like 120 kilograms. So I figured that the maximum rate at which this could consume water is like, you know, however fast this moves through one of these tiles. So like 10 kilograms per however long it takes to go through a tile. So it can't possibly be faster than that. And I'm pretty sure that this many steam turbines will just about fill up this entire insulated pipe, which should create a nice circuit here. And our achievement is going to tell us that we need to keep this on for, I think, 5 straight cycles. So this will be interesting. And I'm going to film and release this exactly how this goes. So if it goes well, great. It'll get filmed and released like that. If this is terrible, it's also going to get released like that. And we're going to clean up the mess and try this again once we learn from our mistakes. So here we go. Let's flip the switch. Alright, now it should be starting to get it loaded with the enriched uranium. And as far as I understand, it starts basically right away. The other expectation that I have here is because it will be consuming water, I'm assuming it'll be putting the water out as well. I don't really understand how. Okay, there we go. It's doing some kind of stretches or something. Yeah, so I think that it should be putting out steam. Yeah, here we go. Because it did just get rid of a bunch of the water. And I think that the steam is getting higher. If not, I'm going to have to change up my piping just a little bit to make sure that these steam turbines are putting water back into here. Because if this ever gets to a situation where these steam turbines can't turn on because there's not enough steam density, then this is going to overheat in no time because nothing is cooling it down. So I guess the setup isn't that delicate, but there's a lot of ways. I guess I'm just really scared of it going wrong and causing big problems. This isn't producing as much heat as I thought it was going to, which I guess is good. Doesn't it say how much it produces here? No, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it says in here. Not really. Well, that would be nice to know if it did, but maybe it's like abstract because it's putting into the steam and not directly like out into stuff. So I don't know. Okay. So we've got this running. Cool. We're going to let that go, and I will probably do a little time lapse of this running just to make sure that our whole system is good. Just because this is such a scary setup to me, I guess. Just to make sure that everything is going the way that we expect it to. And I've never done this before, so yeah, we'll see what happens. The other thing that I wanted to do in this video is getting our monument done. So I've reserved a spot for it, and now I don't even know where it is. It's right here. So we're going to build our monument in this area. I just need to clear out these ladders really quickly. And then it's just going to be 3 furniture things that we plop on top of each other. How about this? in the comments, I will change the monument depending on whatever types you want in there. So once I get this built, I'll show you all the options, and if you can think of anything that you would like, let me know what the combination of things that you want to see, and I'll just pick one of them, and I will throw it up there as our selected monument for this colony as we declare victory. Hopefully in the next one, assuming this doesn't blow up and cause a whole bunch of problems. So yeah, once we get those 5 cycles out of here... Oh, we're dumping some nuclear waste, by the way. Once we get those 5 cycles done, hopefully that'll be it, and we can move forward with the monument, and then I think this video will be good. This video will probably be a little bit shorter than normal. At least won't be another like 50-minute or an hour one or something like that, but yeah, once you get down to these last couple tasks, there's only so much we can do, and I definitely think that the next video is going to be long enough to warrant its own, so we're going to need to do that. Also, I need a whole bunch more steel and stuff like that to land on the other planets, but yeah, let's get a quick little cut here of this thing running, and as soon as we get the achievement, we'll come back and we'll build out the monument. Okay, couple of small modifications that I want to make here. Let's see how long this has been running, by the way. Whoops, I don't want to do this. Reject all. Get out of here. I think it's only been a couple cycles so far. Yeah, 3 out of 5, so there we go. Couple of modifications that I need to make. One of which is this is way too much water going through this one round of pipes. So a bunch of my steam turbines are getting blocked and they can't run because the pipes are backed up, so... Oh, never mind, it's because the automation grid is down. Okay, this should be okay. I swear there was some of them that were getting too backed up, so that's interesting. I'm also a little interested to see what happens if I do this. So what I could do is just hook up this pipe to kind of drop the excess water back into the area, and then the other half would just go into the steam turbine. Or rather the research reactor. Not sure if this is actually a good idea or not, but this tank that I had to collect water is already filled up, so it's already running about as up to capacity as it can. So I might also not have all of these loop all the way down. I don't have a great way to get back in here though, so I might need to set up like a suit bank or something so my duplicates can get back in here and make modifications. I did kind of anticipate this in the sense of, like, I knew this might happen. So I did leave this area open. So I'll just kind of convert this into a little double liquid lock so my duplicates can get in here from this angle without any heat spill or anything like that. So something like this, a couple of liquid locks, and then a suit bank here. I'll get that built out really quickly and get in there and make the modifications. The other thing that I need to pay attention to, if you saw the overlay during that little section, is the radiation this produces is insane. This is so much. So at minimum I need a couple of layers of plastic tile to prevent the radiation spread from getting too bad. So I definitely need to make those modifications as well. But yeah, 3 out of 5 days. So far so good. The steam's getting a little hotter than I would like. Mostly because there's just not the density of steam in here that is needed. So I definitely need to make a couple of plumbing modifications and get this thing back into a little bit better shape. So I'll do that and we will come back. Alright, our modifications have been made. Our radiation is dealt with a lot better. It looks really bad in this area, but more importantly, it's where my duplicates can go. The worst spot is still probably down here, but it's not too bad. My duplicates shouldn't be hanging out around here very often, so I think we'll be fine. Getting a huge hitch from the game right now, by the way, from the autosave, so it'll be just a minute. So you listen to that pleasant nighttime sound of radiation clacking. There we go. All right, the last modification we need to make, now that this is all vacuumed out, now that we have our double liquid lock, just going to open this up, and I think the only thing that I need to do is build a ladder down into the steam. My duplicant just needs to run across here, whoever it is, and put one vent down. Once they put that vent down, I'm going to have a conflict on the lines here, and I'm going to need to decide where to split these steam turbines. So I think I'm going to have, like, maybe all of them but, like, 4 or 5 returning for the time being. And I can just use wire clippers for that, which is, like, one of the best, like, quality of life things that they've added in a long time. So when my duplicants can get down here and add that, all I need to do is increase the pressure of steam here. The problem is that not all my turbines are running right now, which means that our temperature is still rising quite a bit. But I'm not that worried because we got the achievement. Yay! That certainly is rad. Alright, we've got the last one done, at least for this one. So I do want to finish up this setup and kind of get it to a stable point, just in case you wanted to take a design like this and play around with it. I don't want to put something out that's like, yeah, work for the 5 cycles, I'm happy with it. I want to keep this running for as long as possible. And I guess it could just keep going up until we run out of enriched uranium, which we have barely even touched our supply of right now. So that's good. It's going to take a little while for these suits to fill up because the oxygen is coming in quite slowly. So once those fill up and once I get this all done, I will tack on another part and we will go from there. Oh, what we could do in the meantime, let me check to see if my monument area is ready. Not quite. Okay, yeah. So let me clear up these ladders and let me get my duplicants inside here to finish up this setup, and then I think we'll be good with that. Yeah, and then we'll build the monument, and I'll ask you guys what kind of configuration you want for the monument that's going to be in there, and then I think we'll be good for this video. Okay, I think we have stabilized, so just a couple of small modifications. I had to pay attention to how much water these steam turbines could put out at once. So it looks like one drain can basically support 5 steam turbines. They each put out at max about 2,000 grams of water per tile of pipe, whatever that means. So I just have one here that is connected to the top right set of 5, and then the bottom 3 are connected right here. And the remaining ones are filtering through my same system, and they'll eventually go back down into the... oh, by the way, our monument's done, just in case we didn't notice. Let's watch this video. If you wanted to see this video for yourself on your own playthroughs, you can. There's basically 2 ending videos that kind of, like, set the stage for beating the game or whatever. So if you want to watch it, here it is. If not, then look away and come back in about 1 minute. These action shots are great. 1 bed. 1 random empty rocket platform. Alright, I usually read this just to kind of set the stage. It's also like a nice fade in there, kind of goes with the editing. Anyway, I'm like, here, let me read it and totally mess it up. Few civilizations throughout time have had the privilege of understanding their origins. The one thing that matters is that we are here now and we make the best of the world we've been given. I am proud to say this asteroid is our home. So, yeah, we just throw all of our crap on the floor. That's what home means, right? Alright, home sweet home, we got that one. We are down to only 3 achievements remaining, which we will get in the next video, but I need a couple things. Let's finish up talking about our nuclear reactor setup we've got going on up here. The only thing I really would need to keep an eye on this going forward is making sure that there is constant water flow coming in here, and I think I need to check to see how fast this actually consumes it. Because it doesn't explicitly say, which is kind of annoying because a lot of other buildings will just say it. This one doesn't for whatever reason. So it does regularly consume water, and I'm sure there's some type of setup and some exact number of steam turbines that you can hook this up to get this running perfectly. But I would probably need to look at this a little bit longer to make sure that everything was balanced out nicely. But I don't know, this does the job, and if you need a lot of power, or if you need a lot of radiation, this is definitely a pretty good option to go with, assuming you have the support for all this infrastructure. So this is again one of the weird like design challenges of this game, where by this point I don't actually need all this power because I've already solved that problem. So this gives me a whole bunch of power. And also with radiation, by this point in the game I have had my Shinebug reactor for a long time, so I don't really need it. So this is kind of just one of those either for funsy type of things, or if you're playing a really weird set of rules or a really weird asteroid or something like that where this is necessary. I would say this is one of those late game things where it's like, yeah, you could do it, but I don't know, you don't really need it to beat the game. So there you go. Yeah, so that's that. All right, let's go down to our monument, and I need suggestions for what to do with this monument in terms of how we are going to decorate it. This is the default setup, and you can see if you click into here, there's a whole bunch of different things that you could put. So for the legs, here's all the options. So if you see one that catches your eye, let me know which one you want, and put it down in the comments, and we'll put it up there. Here's the torso. If you see a torso you like, let me know. Do your best to describe it with your words. So I don't even know if they actually have names. But yeah, there you go. Here's all the options for the head. So right now it's set to Liera. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. There's a Puffed. There's Nicola, who I don't even think showed up in our colony at all. Yeah, a whole bunch of critters, all kinds of stuff you could put on here as the head. I've used this one before. Definitely the cutest one, I think. Anyway, so yeah. Let me know which of these you would like and what combinations you want on the monument. And then the next video will be our last. And our objective for the next video is going to be to land on every single asteroid, go get the artifacts that are there, bring them back, research them, and then eventually breach the temporal tear. So we've got a little bit of outstanding business to do, but that'll be the last video, and that'll be coming up here pretty quickly because there shouldn't be a whole lot of time in between, and getting those things done shouldn't also take too long either. So we're very close. Thank you very much for sticking through with this series if you're still watching, and if you're not still watching, I have no idea how you would hear this, but more amazing things have happened every day. All right, anyways, so I will see you back here for the next one. Thank you, and see you later.